Hello, welcome to the video. Hope you're having a great day. So I came across this video here, and I kind of want to, I'm not going to make a response to it, but I'm not trying to pick on the scale, but this is typical of a person who was a Protestant, who's not very well grounded in basic rules of hermeneutics, and becomes a Catholic and become influenced by the Catholic teachings and never really gain ground in basic rules of hermeneutics. So she claims that Scripture showed Mary perpetual virginity. And clearly, if you apply basic rules of hermeneutics, you will see that's not the case. So I'm going to demonstrate in this video how just looking at original language alone and just thinking things through alone refutes what being taught. Okay, so if we go over here, Matthew 12:46-50. While he's speaking to the crowd, behold, mother and brothers were standing outside seeking to speak to him. Okay, so naturally we're thinking biological here, right? Someone said to him, behold, your mother and brothers are standing outside seeking to speak to you. They're not thinking spiritual mother and brothers, okay? But Jesus answered to one who was telling him, said, who is my brother and who are my brothers? And stretched out his hand toward the disciples, said, behold my mother and brothers, for whoever does the will of my Father is in heaven, he is my brother and sister and mother. Okay, so now he's going to the spiritual. So he's correcting them, okay, with the spiritual. So Jesus is doing the will of the Father here, obviously. Now, if they were not referring to the natural physical mother and brothers, then his response makes no sense. There has to be contrast for correction. Okay, so if they're referring to their spiritual mother and brothers, why is Jesus correcting what they already know? He's no longer correcting them now. Okay, so this is a clue right here that the person speaking believed that Jesus had a biological mother and brothers. Okay. So here, Jesus visited Nazareth, his hometown, came to his hometown and began teaching them in their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, where did this man get this wisdom and these miracle powers? These are people that are in his hometown, right? Is not this the carpenter's son? Okay, so they knew him. Is not his mother called Mary, and his brother James and Joseph, and Simon and Judas? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Okay, they're not thinking spiritual here. They're not thinking cousins here. We're going to look at the original language a little bit. Where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is now without honor, except in his hometown and his own household. Okay, so we're getting down to the house. Okay, so we're not getting outside the biological realm here. This is the house referring to the house he grew up in, obviously, in his hometown. Okay, let's take a look at the Greek here. Okay, so the Greek word there for brother was actually used there, not cousin. Okay, and hometown in his own house. Okay, so we are getting into biological brother in down his house. Okay. Now, yeah, sister as well. So, yeah. So the Greek for cousin is number 431, okay? And that was not what was used here. You see, it's not 431, it was 80. You can see they're not the same. So a lot of people try to get around this, say, oh, it's referring to his cousins, but that's not the Greek word that's used here. So you have to modify the scriptures in order to fit your view if you go around saying it's cousin. Okay? So the Greek does not allow it, alrighty? And so these were his four brothers, okay? So these people knew him. Alright, that is the natural reading of the text. That is what the Greek tells us. It's brother, not cousin. And if we go back to here, it makes no sense to conclude that the guy who brought to the attention about mother and brother standing outside the door, that he was thinking along the lines of spiritual brother and mother. Okay? There has to be contrast here in order there to be a correction. If there's no contrast between this here and his correction, then there's no correction. And the person who brought this up was speaking the spiritual brother and mother in the first place, if there's no correction here. But obviously there's correction here. He's going from natural biological to spiritual. Okay, obviously. Alrighty, so yeah, just basic rules of hermeneutics. Look at the original language, the Greek that's used here. Does it tell us that it's cousin versus brother? It's brother. And if you just think it through here, just think it through, you'll see that obviously he did have, people perceived him as having actual brothers and biological brothers and mother, okay? And again, we get down to household right here. That is 36:14, a house, dwelling, okay? You cannot escape that. We're talking down to the house he grew up in, biological mother, biological brothers. Alrighty. So there's no way, if a person does their proper hermeneutics, they're going to conclude what this gal here is thinking, that the scripture shows Mary's perpetual virginity. That's absolutely false. Alrighty. The problem is, where she's getting this from is from fallible, non-inspired sources, and she thinks that there's, from her, she's been unfortunately brainwashed into thinking that this church, this Roman Catholic Church, has authority, and with this authority, she has to believe this, and it has to be true. And so what ends up happening, she's just molding the scripture around that. It's called eisegesis. And as I showed you, it does not support, again, the word brothers here, used here, not cousin, and right down to this house, okay? And again, yeah, 431 not used here. And again, if you think through, verses 48 to 50 of Matthew 12, the Lord's response, spoken to a large crowd of people eager to be with him, make no sense. Its initial request to talk with him was made by anyone who was not physically related to him. It makes no sense. So, he had biological brothers and sisters. All right, there's no getting around it. And it just goes to show he was one of us, and Mary was one of us. Alrighty? Flesh and blood. All right? So anyway, I'm not trying to pick on this poor gal, but she was never trained in hermeneutics at all. I mean, I watched several videos. She just never received any training whatsoever. And that's a problem within the Protestant camp churches. Your typical pastor do not train the congregation how to interpret the Bible, hermeneutics, the analysis of biblical interpretation. They just don't go over much of any of that. It's pretty, if they do, it's pretty rare. I mean, it's very rare. I mean, I talk to believers where, yeah, it's happened here or there. It's so rare. Anyway, alrighty, so that's all I have. So thank you very much for watching. Again, just a matter of thinking things through. Does it make sense? We take her position and go back and read this. It no longer makes sense. There's no contrast at that point. You look at the original Greek, what Greek words used. When you substitute a Greek word such as brother with something else, you are no longer letting the scripture do the talking. You are interrupting and forcing it to say what you want to say. Alrighty, which is very common today. Very common, and no remorse doing that whatsoever. Alrighty. All right, thank you very much, and you have a great day.